It is a good morning to you. Welcome to Asake Online. My name is Zenzele Ndebele, and this is the Breakfast Club. The COVID pandemic has affected a lot of industries. The whole world came to a standstill. Shops were closed, restaurants, even airlines. And most of the people, or some of the people who were affected by the COVID pandemic, is the vendors. They could not go to the markets to trade or to buy their produce. And as a result, a number of families were really affected. And some of them are even failing to come back to business because they used the capital that they had to fend for their families and to buy food. Today in the program, we will be talking to Shadrack Zhou, who is the market specialist at DCA, Danish Church Aid. We will be talking about the projects that they are doing to help vendors get back to business, but also make sure that they operate in a safe environment. And one of these projects is the market aggregation project. Mr. Zhou, welcome to the program.
Okay, thank you. The market aggregation project is a part of the main Zimbabwe Resilience Building Fund program, which is being implemented by the Zenzele Consortium. There's a number of organizations in it that are focusing on building resilience of communities. We have Danish Church Aid as the lead partner. We have ORAB, we have I think 10 other organizations. So the market aggregation project is focusing on building resilience of communities through market-based interventions. So it is focusing on building markets based on the background that we identified some inefficiencies in the implementation of the Zimbabwe Resilience Building Fund project, especially market information challenges, logistics challenges, and market linkage challenges, especially for the farmers and producers that we are working with in rural areas. So the market aggregation project is focusing on closing that gap between the producers and the markets. Also in 2020, we experienced the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, which disrupted markets, and that disruption affected producers, affected traders and consumers. And because of that, it is focusing on COVID response in marketplaces and also strengthening market linkages between urban markets and the rural producers.
Yeah, you mentioned COVID, and a lot of people in the vending or the selling fruit, whether it's fruit or veggies, or generally referred to as vendors, were really affected by the COVID. How is the project trying to make sure that these people get back to business in a more safer environment?
Yes, thank you. So initially we realized that the informal traders or vendors were one of the most affected sector. Even where there is a partial lockdown, you will find that they are one of the target groups because they are thought to be super spreader, places. So in this marketplace, there were quite heavy disruptions where the vendors lost their sources of livelihoods. They lost their trading spaces. They also, even during the lockdown, they also, got their capital depleted as they were, using that money for their family livelihoods. So they don't have even the capital maybe to continue at the same scale which they were doing before the lockdowns. So we are talking about completely disrupted livelihoods, because there were travel restrictions, the markets where they also order from were closed. So what we are doing now is, at the moment, the government allowed them to operate on condition that they adhere to the COVID-19 prevention regulations. So what we are doing in these markets is that, one, we are helping them to foot the cost of complying to the regulations. So we are assisting the traders with COVID-19 prevention materials in the form of masks, sanitizers, social distance marking, and things like that. But more importantly, on the economic side, we are helping them to be able to link with the suppliers who can give them maybe products at lower prices. We are linking them to group the suppliers so that it makes it easy to get their supplies directly from farmers. The local authority also decentralized markets from the city center to decongest the city center. So in these different markets, you find that there is limited infrastructure. We have not yet started working with the council to look at infrastructure, but it's something that is in the plans. But for those who are already operating in these decentralized markets, we are supporting them with COVID-19 fighting material, some trainings as well to make sure that they understand the business, some trainings to also make sure that they understand the effects of COVID-19 and adhere to the prevention guidelines.
Now, your consortium recently developed an app, mobile application, market aggregation application. Can you briefly tell us about this application and how it works?
Yes, so as part of the solutions to the effects of COVID-19, where there were travel restrictions and limiting trade, we realized that the need for virtual trading is growing. People were doing business on mobile applications, on social media. So as a consortium, we developed the mobile application, which we is going to help in terms of access to information. This is a platform that links suppliers and traders, or suppliers and buyers. So on that platform, you have a database of suppliers of specific products and buyers of specific products. So when you register on the platform, you have access to market information. As traders, we are also promoting aggregation. We are promoting working together. So traders can come together, communicate with also organized suppliers so that they can get their stock, just communicate over the application. So it's an information sharing platform. It's also a logistics saving platform. It's a cost saving platform, so that even if there is another disaster that is the effects like the COVID pandemic, trade can still go on communicating on the platform.
It's quite a good idea that people use new technologies, because we've seen that during COVID the virtual world became the place. How user friendly is this application? Can a 60-year-old woman manage to navigate the application?
Yeah, obviously the first version might have one or two issues, but this is the first version. We'll continue to improve it, but we tried it to be as simple as possible. We are encouraging our users to work even as groups or as families. In a family, there might be just one phone which goes on the application and they use it as a family. So even if we have a 60-year-old who may have challenges, there might be a younger person who will also help in the family. It's just a simple application. You download it on Play Store. You sign up using your phone number. So the phone number is your user identification profile. That's what you use. You put a password. So it's just your phone number, your password. Then if you are logging in as a supplier, you can start loading products there. If you are logging in as a buyer, then you can start requesting products. You can start viewing different suppliers who are supplying the product of your interest.
So basically, this is a place where buyers meet suppliers.
Yes.
Are individuals allowed to join in and buy as well?
Yes. individuals are also allowed to join in and buy. Our focus is mainly on food and agricultural products, but there could also be related products, maybe farm implements, vehicles, and things like that. Yeah, we have seen that already coming on the platform. But we are focusing on the food and agricultural value chain. You just come in there as an individual, as an institution, as a group, as long as you register a phone number. If you want to be both a supplier and a buyer, it means you have to use two different lines. One, you log in with one number as a buyer and the other number as a supplier.
You know, one of the things that I've always seen with vendors is that they get their products if they're buying, whether it's a Macimbi or it's usually out of town in rural areas. And there is a rise of the middlemen, who, buy at a low price from the source and come and sell at a higher price in urban areas. So your app seems to eliminate the middle person.
Yes, to some extent, because we are encouraging producers to aggregate, to bring together, bulk their products so that they can meet the demands of the markets. So we can have a group in Tumbane buying directly from Lupane. Whether they are dry foods or fresh foods. We can have a group in Soksile buying directly from Slalachan, because farmers have aggregated their products and we are linking them directly to those producers. There could be an element of some aggregators who are going to be doing wholesaling. Like, as you know, the council is promoting a wholesale model in these decentralized markets. So there might be somebody who is aggregating products from the various sources so that the vendors who conveniently want products quickly, they can go into the wholesale facility and buy. So yes, there could be elimination of some of those dealers and quick middlemen, but we also still support the wholesale model, especially at the decentralized market.
I know most vendors have just opened their businesses. They are coming back to business after some time under lockdown. What would you say are some of the challenges that are faced by vendors?
Yeah, the biggest challenge that we have seen is lack of trading infrastructure. When weather conditions come, whether it's sunny or windy or there's rain or there are floods, they always get challenges in getting proper trading spaces. So it is something that we are considering partnering local authorities to look at that, to see what we can do, what plans the councils have and how we can support those plans. The other challenges are issues to do with clashes with law enforcement agents. They are always a challenge, whether they have got licenses or they have no licenses. We always see these running battles, sometimes their stocks being confiscated. And so as part of this program, we are also encouraging vendors to regularize their work, get licensed, and also make sure that they trade in designated spaces.
Yeah. You know what I find interesting with what you've talked about, the vendors' infrastructure. The few times that I've visited Europe, you find that it's quite more like a tourist attraction to go to the fish market or to the vegetable market, because every weekend, families go to the fish market, if they're farmers, to sell fish, to sell fruits, and these places are designated. Yes. You find that there's a place where they sell fish, there's a place where they sell old clothes, so anyone can wake up in the morning, take stuff that they don't want and go and sell. So their pushing time is also family time, but it's the environment that is nicer and clean, and there is structure. And if what you are talking about, it makes the place more attractive to go there than just selling in the streets and running away from the police.
Exactly. So it is a long way to go for us as a country. But I'm sure with the lesson that we have got from COVID, I'm sure we can start from somewhere. And if more partners come in to look at trading infrastructure, I'm sure we will have safer markets.
And lastly, what are your, where do you see these informal traders, or a few years from now?
Yeah, from some of the traders we have interacted with, we are seeing quite big dreams. A lot of us, I think they have dreams to own their own formal businesses. So we are supporting them with business skills. We are training them on entrepreneurship. We are also covering reinvestment in those trainings to make sure that when they get their proceeds from their vending businesses, they reinvest and grow their businesses. So we are seeing some of these vendors growing, especially when if we get the chance to maybe work with local authorities to improve infrastructure. Those vendors can grow very big. We are also encouraging them to diversify their livelihoods so that if we get maybe another disaster that is like COVID, they are not relying on one line of business. They've got a second line and a third line. So we hope that with those skills, we are helping them to regularize their businesses. We are helping them to invest in their businesses and grow their businesses. We are seeing growing businesses from that. Currently, in our country, there are no big companies now. So they are the companies of today. They are the companies of tomorrow. So we are just appealing that we need more support, private sector support. We need, development organization support to see these vendors growing, because they are also the market of all the farmers and producers we are supporting in rural areas.
Thank you, Mr. Zhou, for this informative program, and also the work that you are doing to assist vendors not only to operate in a safe environment, but to make sure that they are getting back to business and they can be able to fend for their families. One hopes that we have learned some of the lessons because of the COVID, and our businesses are going to try and adjust and to make sure that next time when there's another pandemic that keeps us at home, at least our businesses can still continue. And one of the ways to make sure that we keep doing business is to move to virtual spaces. And the application that you're talking about is one of those examples that can actually help our people to survive even during the lockdown. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope that your work is going to help a number of families and also bring a number of those who are not able to operate back to business. My name is Zenzele Ndebele. Till we meet again in other programs, have a good day.